Hi everyone, this is my latest book which is almost finished and should be up and running in the next 1 week. The book is called Blood, Memory and Betrayal, July's Politics and Forgotten War of 1971, The Unmaking of a Republic. Well, this is a book, it's a gripping exploration of a nation's lost ideals, how we have lost our perspective, how from a quota movement to turn into a national anarchy and toppling the government, from the battlefields of 1971 to the streets of 2024, how the dream of liberation was betrayed, the cost of forgotten sacrifices. A very powerful and necessary book that unravels the truth behind the Bangladesh's turmoil. This is a gripping book, one ought to read in order for them to understand why every time betrayal obliterates the memory and the streets are soaked with blood. The country has suffered and paid an enormous price to make this an independent Bangladesh. However, every time the prosperity, the democracy, the rise to the fame, for some reason or the other, has been cut short. There's always a conspiracy. There's always a betrayal. There's always a crisis. Crisis to take us back to the old days. A crisis to obliterate the growth. A crisis perpetuated to make the streets red with the blood of the youth. How long can we afford to do this? This book explores as to how a simple movement turned into a betrayal and the fall of the government. It's not the government that I'm interested in. It's about the history of the blood that the people, men, women, children, have paid at the altar of the independence of Bangladesh in 1971. There was this conspiracy, there was this game plan, there was this betrayal by a certain group of people who wanted to wipe the history of the sacrifices of the people of Bangladesh for last 70, 80 years to come to this fruition, and this betrayal, this bloodshed was nothing but wipe those marks from the history, make people, the new generation, to not to respect the 1971 liberation war. And this book talks about all the memories, all the bloodsheds, and how this betrayal was perpetuated through this 1920 and 1947, 1946, 1952, 1966, 1971. They just wanted to wipe it away completely and try to give us a new perspective of history. And that is what the book talks about. When it's up and running and when you can buy the book, please go to Amazon, buy this book and read it. It is a true history looking through the prism of these 54 years of Bangladesh. It is a true story, and how people have always betrayed with the aspirations, the perspectives, and the wish of the common public, and their aim is to establish a hidden agenda, a game that they have lost in 1971. They wanted to bring it back and start it fresh, but I think they have been miserably failed, and this book talks about that. Thank you.